Alright, and welcome to the Third Strike Primer for Sean. Here is the moves list. If you need to check back later, you can just skip to the beginning of the video and check this out. Sean is kind of a Shoto with a few other things mixed in. Well, he's a Shoto as far as normal is concerned, but his moves are slightly different. He has three supers. Super number one is the one we're going to work on today, and his other ones are not that bad either, considering how bad of a character Sean is, but we'll get into that later. First of all, Sean is probably the worst character in this game. He is the Dan of the Third Strike series. So, let's look at Sean's normals and see what's good, what's bad. His jab, typical jab, nothing inherently wrong about this. Medium punch, kind of like Ryu and Ken's, of course, just like a Shoto. His fierce punch, it's almost kind of the same motion, just in a different direction, if that makes any sense, as the other Shotos. His kind of goes out then down, and probably not that bad of a fierce, but doesn't really go into anything unless it's close. Then it changes up to that, and that can be cancelable. Short, he has good shorts. They're comboable, just like the other Shotos. His low forward, it's just like the other low forwards, just slower than Ken's and Ryu's. His sweep, just god awful, slowest Shoto sweep by far. Way punishable. Roundhouse, that's the standing roundhouse. Can be used for anti-air, but again, it's only one hit, so you know, be careful. Forward roundhouse, to be honest, it's one of the most unsafe command normals I've ever seen. Hits him, does a little bit of damage, and yeah, just not that great. So, Sean, not that great, but his super will do Hadou Burst. It applies the same kind of reasoning as Ken. Yes, the super itself does not do that much damage, but because you get 3, the overall damage and the chances of making, you know, the more potential damage is greater because you have 3 stocks instead of just 1. So of course he can do traditional things off his normals, like canceling the super, his short super, of course. That he has his best meaty, which is close standing roundhouse. Now, if I haven't specified what meaties are before, meaties are when the opponent's getting up and you time that so the hit frames of your move are hitting them when they are vulnerable, when they're waking up. You know, in general, it could be with a normal, it could be with an uppercut. You can actually stuff, if you time your meaty well enough with the right move, you can actually stuff uppercuts and even EX uppercuts with certain moves in this game. So it's not like Street Fighter 4 where if they're mashing uppercut and you have a move stuck out there really deep on their wake up, that they're just gonna punch through it. Like, they don't have just ultimate rain on waking up. So in case I haven't gotten that out of the way, sometimes I forget that this is a beginner primer, and some things might not be apparent. Alright, so one thing to note with Sean is that when throwing your opponent, unless you already have your opponent close to the corner, you want to use your back throw. It does much more damage. Watch, we'll take this in comparison. Boom. Does a portrait worth the damage? It does less damage if you throw them forward. So unless you already have them close to the corner, throw them backwards for the extra damage. You get to do your little taunt after that, which by the way is a basketball, also a very fun taunt to do in this game. It does nothing though other than hit them once, or they can parry it or whatever. So, by the way, Sean's forward dash is not that bad. It's pretty quick, so that's one redeeming quality he does have about him. His back dash is pretty bad though, but it can help in certain positioning situations. His jumping, nothing too great. He has his crossover with his medium kick, but again, it's even worse than Ryu's crossover, and you know, just kind of sticks with the fierce and heavy punches in the air. Let's go into Sean's moves. He has an uppercut, which can be meatied, stuffed by almost any move. It has like almost no priority on wake up. The EX version is the only one actually worth doing on your wake up, but be wary of that because that can be stuffed, and it only hits twice, so it's nothing to put a lot of faith in. He has his Sean kick. Oh, I'm sorry. His Sean kick, which is an overhead. You can see it's extremely slow, easy parry bait, and just if you get hit by it, you can cancel into it. Oops, you can cancel into it, but it's nothing to shake a stick at. Also leaves him in a super bad position when hit. That's all of Sean's moves except for his uppercut and his tackle, which is this. All of Sean's special moves, even on hit, leave him in a bad position. Alright, so let's talk about his takedown tackle. If you just press the button when doing the motion, he goes forward like that and does not grab you. Now, if you hold it, he does this. Decent damage, hard to land because you can't combo into it, and number two, even though it looks like a grab, it is not a grab. It can be down parried and blocked, so it only hits if they're standing high or for some reason pushing an unsafe move or something. So be wary of that, but it is also very cool to hit the EX version, so kind of a bonus. Shitty move, but awesome to land. Okay, so he has his hurricane kick, which leaves them in a really bad position right in front of their face, and like they're basically even on landing, if not worse maybe. I don't know, I don't really check frame data, but I know this is a horrible position for Sean to be in. That's why typically, if the only Sean player I've ever lost to was 5-star, and he wasn't beating me with doing special moves and stuff like that. He was only beating me by doing counter pokes into supers, you know, certain throw setups on my wake up, and like meaties into supers and stuff like that, because and the occasional out of the blue parry that would keep me guessing, because he had to beat me on fundamentals with Sean. You can't out-gimmick someone with Sean. If you're out-gimmicking someone with Sean, they are worse than you, and you don't need... it doesn't matter what character you pick. There's also his roll, which has no like real feasible applications, but it is fun to mess around with people. You can roll by people on their get up, on their wake up. Fun to mess around with, but nothing that, as far as high level play is considered, nothing really too feasible. Let's go into his command normals and chain. He has an overhead, which is forward and fierce. Hits twice, kind of slow. Throw it out there once in a blue moon. He has this change, which is standing medium punch, standing roundhouse. Now the thing about this chain is that you hit this, and then you're at the range where almost no character can hit you except a sweep. So, you know, not a bad idea to tap down after that chain just to, you know, see if you can catch something they're gonna try to immediately retaliate with. That is, unless it's something like an EX shoulder from Alex or something that's gonna rush them forward like a special move. So, of course, there are parry traps and parry baits, but there are always ways around them. Let's say you did this, and I'm just doing this for just a third strike example, like, you know, nothing specifically to Sean, but let's say you set them up with this, bait them into doing down parry, and let's say you were against a Ken. So you do down parry, he does low forward, and you don't wait, you go right into retaliation, and he cancels the super. You eat the super. So I just wanted to show there, I mean, I'm getting more into third strike than just Sean in general, but just wanted to show there that there's a misconception with parrying being safe. It is not safe. Every time you do a parry, you make a huge risk. Now, there are numerous ways to bait people into parrying and destroying them. So, if you are getting parried a lot, you are being too predictable, you're following too big of patterns, and you are not attacking at appropriate times. Alright, enough of that. Let's get into more Sean. Sean has a pretty bad jump. Doesn't go very horizontal. And when you hit him, when you hit a jump in, like as you can see, I went roundhouse and immediately into his chain. It doesn't even combo. It's even harder to combo with Sean than other characters. So he is definitely a hard book to deal with. Character. Fierce, of course, is cancelable, but because of his crappy uppercut, only 1 point of the EX will hit. Again, you're working with the worst character in the game. Like, if you're losing to Sean, you're not losing to gimmicks. Like, let's say if you lost to 12, you probably lost to more gimmick style stuff. This is just a really, really bad Shoto. If you can beat a Ken player, you can destroy a Sean player. And hey, yo, if you're the Sean player, then that just means you gotta be smarter than your opponent, and your fundamentals have to be awesome. So let's talk about 3 areas about how you would beat someone with Sean just by making the right decisions or using your fundamentals or whatever. So let's say a character jumps in at Sean, and they're not pressing a button, so you know they're parrying. They're jumping in with a parry. You're not going to be uppercutting or doing things like that. You're going to be using your quick dash to get under them and then maybe do a short into super or whatever your combo you can do is. Be careful though, they can wait to parry all the way till they get to the ground and parry that, so use this as a mix-up. If they jump in and they're not pressing anything, so you know they're parrying, you can anti-air them with jab. And this is about just being safe and not taking your risks, and you know, making sure you're making the right decisions. Because if they're not pressing any buttons and you anti-air them with something like this, it's one parry. They're probably gonna parry it, and they're gonna punish you. So if they're not pressing any buttons, you can dash under them, you can do multiple jabs, you can wait till they hit the ground and then go low to give them a mix-up. You can also do stuff like if someone's jumping at you and you know they're parrying, you can do jump back roundhouse. So in this situation, it's at an odd time because it's way up there, so people are not typically parrying up there. And also, even if they do parry it, the maximum punish that almost any character can do there is just hit you with a normal back. So that's low risk anti-air. Now if the character is jumping in and they got a normal out, go ahead and anti-air them with the down fierce or whatever you can hit them with at that range. That is if the normal is already out. You hit them with the early anti-fierce or down anti-air fierce or something. Okay, so after, you know, so that is pretty much covered. You make the right decision when they're jumping in, and you won't receive damage. Okay, so ground. Sean's normals are very slow, not that great. So basically, the only thing to do on their wake up, obviously, you want to incorporate throws to help add another variable to your mix-ups, quote-unquote. But Sean is basically going to beat the person on meaties, beating their wake-up move, and punishing their poor placed normals. Because let's say if Remy missed a crouching medium punch right here, I would go low forward into super as a counter poke and hit that retracting limb into super. And that's like it. Other than doing red parries and setting them up for parries, like let's say you do low forward and they block it, and you hit and you tap down right after to see if they answer back with a low forward. Literally, that is the only way to really get damage going with Sean, because like I said, his special moves, other than the ever once in a blue moon stuff like that, are very unsafe. So, and they don't really lead into anything huge. So just, I mean, if you're going to want to be winning with Sean, you're going to have to play him very basic and fundamental, and have strong fundamentals. But if you just want to while out, by all means, go crazy with your bad self. I mean, I know that's what Sean would actually want in general. So, yeah. But I guess that would probably do it for the worst character in Third Strike. But he is nonetheless an awesome character, and to be honest, I like him way better as just a crappy character than I do like Dan. So peace, and thanks for sharing and liking this stuff. I'm gonna do at least one video of this on Cross Counter. I think I'll do Makoto. So I'll let you guys know when that happens. And just be wary, I'm gonna do it more for Street Fighter 4 people, just so they can so hopefully, you know, maybe someone might like not the reincarnations, but someone might like the older versions of a character in Third Strike than in the Street Fighter 4 incarnations. So maybe they'll come to Third Strike. But anyway, I just want to show Third Strike how fun it is. You know, it doesn't really matter if your game has a lot of backing, if you have like good friends to play with or something like that. So yeah, let's move on to the next character.